Hello and welcome to this meeting for athletics and activities for Parkview High School for the fall of 2020. The information presented in this presentation will be for both parents and students of our athletes. In this video, we will talk about student safety, athletic eligibility, sportsmanship and expectations for both students and parents, communication, transportation, and finally, how will COVID-19 impact our activities, practices, and games this upcoming fall. So the first thing I want to talk about is student safety. Here at Parkview High School, we are very fortunate to have an athletic trainer working on our staff. Michael Lane, who works through Mercy Sports Medicine, is our trainer here at Parkview. For this upcoming school year, at least for the fall, he'll be arriving at Parkview High School at 1:15 each day. You can see his cell phone number here if you had any medical questions. Please take advantage of him before going to the doctor for anything that might be a sports-related injury. He is a great resource for both our parents and our student athletes, as well as our coaches. Some of the safety issues that our coaches will be getting training on this year include concussions, heat illness, and hydration tracking, which is a weigh-in practice for some of our sports. Coaches annually go through concussion training, which is required by MSHSAA, CPR training, which is also required by MSHSAA, as well as a 16-day acclimatization training. This year, in addition to those trainings, they will be undergoing mental health training as well in order to best serve our student athletes here at Parkview. A physical form must be submitted in order for your athlete to participate. The doctor portion of these are now good for a 2-year time span. In order to participate, students must have medical clearance, they must submit a proof of insurance, and they must have parent permission and a student's signature. In addition, a citizenship card must be signed, a consent to treat form must be signed, and a concussion form must be signed. An SPS activity fee must also be paid in order to participate. MSHSAA Bylaw 2.1.1 defines a bona fide student as a student that is enrolled in the proper amount of classes and attends classes regularly. Parkview students must live within the PHS attendance area or be approved on transfer in order to participate. All students this year will be eligible beginning in the 9th grade, and for also this year, all fall athletes will be academically eligible due to the waiving of the requirements because of the coronavirus last spring. All other grades must be enrolled 365 days to be eligible at the varsity level. There are exceptions to this rule, and if you have questions, please contact me and I'll have those conversations with you. The student must pass 80% of their classes from the previous semester to be eligible. So for the spring semester, students must pass 3.5 out of 4 credits. Parkview is now on a full 8-block schedule, and a student must be enrolled in enough classes to earn 3.5 out of 4 credits. Athletes should never drop a course or take an open block before talking with their coach, their counselor, and the athletic director. As far as attendance goes in MSHSAA, a student who misses school on the date of a contest without prior approval of the athletic director will not be eligible for that contest. A student who is more than 15 minutes late to school will be considered absent and will be deemed ineligible for that day. Exceptions to that include doctor's appointments and emergencies. Please notify the coach or the athletic director prior to these if applicable. So please make sure you are scheduling those appointments plenty ahead of time and contact me if your student must miss part of a school day for a medical appointment. If a student athlete has been charged or may have charges filed by law enforcement, they must notify administration. Students will be ineligible until charges have been dropped or until you have fulfilled your obligations that are related to those charges. Students and parents who do not notify and they compete in games could be declared ineligible for up to 1 full calendar year. Student athletes participating in the same sport in the same season as far as club activities goes is prohibited by MSHSAA. Exceptions to this include cross country, golf, wrestling, tennis, and track. Those student athletes are allowed 2 non-school competitions during those seasons. Awards for student athletes may not exceed $250. Student athletes participating in the same season but a different club sport, however, will be allowed to participate in those club activities, but they cannot have both competitions on the same day. Please contact myself if you have any questions about this. We must impart upon our student athletes that school sports must come first in order to maintain eligibility. Student athletes must sign a Springfield R12 citizenship card each year. This must be signed by all students competing in a club, sport, or an activity. The expectations apply to actions both in school and out of school. A serious breach of good conduct, whether it is in school or out of school, may be sufficient reason to declare a student ineligible. A 14-day calendar day suspension from activities could result from an out-of-school suspension for a student. Any serious breach of good conduct, either in or outside of school, which is verified to the satisfaction of the administration, could qualify for an activity suspension. A 28 calendar day suspension for a student athlete could come for any violation of the Student Alcohol Drug Abuse Policy, Board Policy JFCH, and or for conduct similar to that prohibited in this policy that occurs away from school and results in a summons being issued to the student or charges being filed in court against the student, or conduct which is verified to the satisfaction of the administration. Expectations for these offenses below are zero tolerance. That includes hazing of students, bullying, harassment through social media, inappropriate social media posts through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or other social media platforms. When these violations are brought to the attention of the administration, we do work those and address those issues with students. Again, these could potentially result in activity suspensions for your athlete. The chain of command here in Springfield Public Schools is as follows. If an athlete needs to talk to a coach about something, playing time, or anything else that might be related to their sport, they first need to approach the coach and have that conversation. If at some point in time the athlete is not satisfied after that communication, that would then involve the parent, the athlete, and the coach. If after that, still we do not have a satisfactory conclusion, you may contact me as athletic director. Following chain of command after that would be Dr. Ramsey, our principal, and then finally our district athletic director, Josh Scott. Take pride in being a Viking. That means the administration, the staff, the coaches, the parents, the student athletes, we all take pride in representing Parkview High School. We all want to be positive examples on and off the field. So in the hallways or out in the community, we need to make sure we are setting the best example possible and represent our school in the best method possible. The expectations of parents: provide positive support and encouragement for your child in any Parkview sport or activity. Please understand that your student's playing time will be determined by his or her awareness of the game, their ability, their maturity, and an evaluation by their coaches. We ask that you support the coaches and the officials working with your child in order to encourage a positive and enjoyable team experience for everyone. Please refrain from coaching other people's kids or other players during the game and practices. That is why we have great coaches here at Parkview High School to work with your students. Transportation to and from games. Students must ride the bus or get signed out by parents at an event. They cannot go home with another student or another parent unless cleared by the district athletic director 48 hours prior to contest. If you have questions about this, please contact me. There is a form that must be submitted and filled out before being approved by the district. The last thing I want to cover quickly before talking about COVID-19 are seating capacity and vouchers. With the current city ordinance on masking and social distancing, Springfield Public Schools facilities will be limited to 50% of capacity for all home contests. Myself and coaches will be working to distribute vouchers for family of participants first. This includes players, band, dance, cheer, etc., for varsity football games. As we have analyzed our facilities, we believe that JFK Stadium in Friday night football is the only program and contest that will probably be impacted by this. We will continue to monitor attendance at all of our games, and we will talk to each individual sport about those seating capacity limits. If you are a varsity football parent or someone who is participating in varsity football on Friday nights, you will be given a voucher and sold a season ticket in order for you to enter football games. We will discuss more of that with the coaches and those sponsors responsible for those teams. If you ever need to contact me, my email address is here, and this is my phone number here at Parkview High School. You can obtain some of this information through the Parkview High School website. Following this information will be information from Josh Scott and Marty Marsh, our district athletic directors. Their information will be presented on COVID-19 and how it will impact practices and games. Thank you for watching.
Hello, and welcome to the Springfield Public School Athletic Office's Return to Play and Understanding COVID and Impacts on High School and Middle School Athletics. My name is Joshua Scott, and I'm the District Athletic Director for Springfield Public Schools, and I'm pleased to be here with Marty Marsh, our Assistant Director for Athletics for the school district. To briefly give an overview of COVID and its implications on our department, we need to first understand that we are under a series of 3 layers of regulations and recommendations. First, we have Springfield Public Schools Health Department regulations, protocols, and return to learning. Then we have the MSHSAA, the Missouri State High School Activities Association's Sports Medicine Council, who sent out recommendations following many of the major professional and NCAA recommendations for returning to athletics. And lastly, we are working hand in hand with Springfield Greene County Health Department to create the most safe environment we can for our student athletes returning to competition. It is very important to understand that through the advisement of SPS, MSHSAA, our guidelines and practices will be to work hand in hand with Greene County for identifying possible COVID exposures, and then to determine whether isolation, quarantining, and contact tracing needs to take place. Marty and I assure you that we will do everything in our power to make sure we contact anyone and everyone that possibly came into contact with a COVID positive or presumptive positive individual. During this, we have to understand that there is a difference between direct contact and a secondary contact. For the easiest explanation, a direct contact is anyone that came within 6 foot of a COVID positive person, whether symptomatic or asymptomatic, for a course of 15 minutes. If there is direct contact, meaning hand to hand or body to body, then that impact does not necessarily have to be 15 minutes to be considered direct. Secondary contact would be if you were in the facility with a COVID positive person, but you did not have that direct 6 foot with an in, no mask or no PPE on contact for a course of less than 15 minutes. In order to get a grasp of what a normal day for your son or daughter will be coming through Springfield Public Schools, I'm going to ask Marty to outline some of our team expectations on a daily basis and what you'll see when you come to an event at Springfield Public Schools.
Most practical tools we have available to us in athletics revolve around 4 primary areas: masking, screening, potting, and cleaning. Spectators, coaches, and athletes will be required to physically or socially distance and wear masks at all times unless they are physically exerting themselves. This is our primary defense against exposure to COVID-19 as citizens. Upon entry to practices or games, a daily screening process will be deployed. Students will report to a designated area upon arrival, at which time they will have their temperature taken and will answer 4 important questions. The first question stems from the fact of have they had a cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, fever, chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, loss of taste or smell, new congestion or runny nose, diarrhea, or nauseousness and vomiting in the last 24 hours. Those are the traditional signs of COVID-19. Number two, have you participated in club sports outside of Southwest Missouri? The third question revolves around your proximity to a COVID-19 positive individual in the last 5 days. Finally, question number four, do you feel healthy and willing to participate in physical activities related to strength training, conditioning, and sport-specific skill practices? Simply put, potting is essential for effective contact tracing. In general, the less we intermingle, the less significant impact a positive test could potentially have on our programs. Our coaches will be working diligently to pod their athletes while attempting to maintain a balance between effective coaching practices and student health and safety. As always, student health and safety will trump success-driven practice strategies.
Marty touched on the screening aspect, and one important part of this for our athletic coaches is going to be attendance tracking of our teams. It's going to be crucial for them to know who was at practice on which day and within which group. Even to an extent that we've started asking our coaches, please identify within your practice plans whether or not close contact is being taken place. We are going to try and be able to provide the best information we can to our health department, to Greene County when they're asking about our practices and how we're working to ensure the safety of our student athletes. In addition to that, currently we are under return to the community phase 3A with Springfield, Greene County. We are under 3A until October 14th, and part of that is a 50% regulation on spectators at sporting events. We've worked hard to identify our stadium capacity. We are working to identify areas outside of the exact seating that people can socially and physically distance, and we're working to identify a communication plan to athletes' parents in order to attend competitions. We will try to provide the best opportunity for us to have as many people as we can in the stadiums while following the regulations set forth by Springfield Greene County Health Department. Marty, can you please touch on cleaning for us?
Yes, many questions have arisen regarding cleaning of athletic facilities. Numerous practices will be deployed to provide a safe and clean environment. The first defense strategy regarding facilities deals with proper hygiene. The washing of hands with soap and water or disinfectant will be emphasized. Sport-specific equipment will not be shared, and both sport-specific and weight room equipment will be wiped down before, intermittently during, and immediately following usage. Weight room equipment will be disinfected after each usage. We will request that athletes return cloth items home daily for cleaning, and that student athletes will be asked to take a shower both before and following practices. Finally, numerous COVID-19 resources have been disseminated by Springfield Public School District, the Springfield Greene County Health Department, and the Missouri State High School Activities Association. For your convenience, we have highlighted some of those links here. As a general reference, please visit Springfield Public School District's main and athletic websites.
We want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we hope this gives you a glimpse of some of the work that we're doing in order to create a safe environment for your son or your daughter. We are excited with the ability to bring sports and activities back to Springfield Public Schools. We sorely missed them last March in the end of the spring semester, the spring season, whenever we lost them last year. We will be more than happy to answer any of your questions or concerns. Feel free to please reach out to your school, site athletic director, athletic coordinator, building administration, or you are more than welcome to reach out to us in the district athletic office. Thank you, and we hope to see you out at some events this fall.